Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 476. It's Tuesday, February 26th, 2013, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Internet talk radio for your imagination. Mike Matthews broadcasting from the last place on Earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. Plus we bring you the finale of Into an Interview with Tim Perry of the band Ages and Ages.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And after the Academy Awards, there are two big stars that are going on to different stages.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Jennifer Lawrence has decided to go brunette, and Ben Affleck has decided to shave. Jennifer Lawrence got the new hairdo because there's Hunger Games sequels parts to play. And Ben Affleck wasn't shaving because it was a good luck charm. Now he shaved it off and doesn't quite look like he works on a farm. The beard was shaved off at a restaurant he was at with his family. They helped him do it.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
His family hated his beard, and Jennifer Garner brought clippers. And as for Adobe Flash, is saying screw it.
Mike's
No, they're not.
Daily
In fact, they sent out
Podcast.
an emergency update to their Flash player. It patches up a few security holes discovered in the system. Hackers were using the security holes to launch attacks solely at Firefox users. A security bulletin released by Adobe says these updates address vulnerabilities that could cause a crash and potentially allow an attacker to take control of the affected system. Well, thanks, Adobe. You know, it's kind of a stupid name to be protected by an Adobe. Those things fall apart, right? Just if you spit on them, they fall apart. Just a little bit of mud and some straw. Not much holding them together. They work great in California because there's never any rain, but elsewhere could be hazardous. Oh, look who just walked in.
Hello, Mike Matthews. Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor, and I'm always so busy.
Yeah, you told us last time.
I'm always so busy. Just like Jennifer Garner, she's busy shooting the sequel to Hunger Games, so she has to get her hair done, and meanwhile she's winning all these awards. She's a busy girl.
And on top of all that, she's fighting with her clothes all the time. Either something's falling off or something's tripping her. It's just she can't catch a break. Except all the awards that she wins.
I know, Mike Matthews.
Oh, look who else just walked in.
Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman.
And this is John Deere the engineer. And we're feeling a little bit sluggish because we ate some sushi.
Sushi makes you sluggish?
Yeah, it makes me...
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Something about those fish. It puts us to sleep.
Interesting. Well, do you get the decaffeinated sushi?
I don't know.
Do you ask for it?
No.
Floyd the Floorman, don't listen to him. He's just making up stuff.
Mike Matthews, I really like to eat sushi because I like to use chopsticks.
That's good. Using your hands to eat sushi, it looks very undignified.
Oh my gosh, Mike Matthews, you sounded like Valentino for a second.
I did. I kind of sounded like Valentino the parking attendant. That was weird. Because I am utterly incapable of doing impressions. Oh, look who just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. I heard you were trying to do an impression of me, Valentino, the parking attendant.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were. I heard. Hey, Chely, how you doing?
Hi, Valentino. It's so good to see you. What are you up to?
You know, I'm parking cars in the parking lot. How are you doing?
Fine, Valentino. Stuff.
Well, great. I'm glad you two got to talk.
Mike, why is John Deere the engineer and Floyd the Floorman passed out on the floor?
I don't know, but that is ironic that Floyd the Floorman is passed out on the floor. Okay, maybe it's only ironic to me. Yes, it looks like it is only ironic to me. All right. Well, if you have a thing about Jennifer Lawrence's hair, Ben Affleck's now gone beard, and how come Jennifer Garner is allowed to walk around with scissors is what I want to know. That should be the one thing we're keeping an eye on.
Why are you making fun of Jennifer Garner?
Yes, Mike Matthews. Don't make fun of Jennifer. Hello, Valentino.
Hello there, John Deere the engineer. I see you're sleeping on the floor there.
Yes, I am. Good night.
We should order the decaffeinated sushi.
Or if you think that Adobe maybe should change their name to something that sounds a little bit more, I don't know, impenetrable. internet security hacker-wise, email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails for me-mail. You can also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you'd like to sponsor the show. And we also have the website, mikesdailypodcast.com. Go there to find out where our iTunes page is. We have a link to where you can find us in iTunes. And if you subscribe to us there and rank this show there as well as comment on it, more people find out about us, and we thank you, and it's wonderful if you do that. Also, you can find out where to find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Yelp at mikesdailypodcast.com. And we also have the blog and the podcast picture that we have daily up there at mikesdailypodcast.com. And finally, where you can find us on the internet radio stations, KNJO and XRQK. All the links there at mikesdailypodcast.com.
And don't worry about hackers getting to you through the website, because I'm protecting it with my lightsaber.
Yes, and as always, thank you to John Deere, the engineer, for protecting us from hackers with his lightsaber.
You're welcome. Now I'm going to lay back down again on this comfy floor.
I want some sushi pillows.
Into an interview.
We're talking to Tim Perry. That's like the French pronunciation of your name. Tim Perry.
You know, I actually dated somebody once with the middle name Gay. And we would always joke that if we did get married, her name would be Gay Perry.
You weren't dating Marcia? Is it Marcia Gay Harden?
No, but wow, that's a crazy combination of names too. Very unfortunate.
And Tim is in the band Ages and Ages. And Tim, you are described, or I think you described your music as joyful choral rock. Does that ring a bell?
That rings a bell.
And
maybe somebody else described it as that, but maybe we did. I'm not sure.
And do you think that fits, or would you like to throw in another adjective, or how did that description come about?
Well, I don't, it's funny because a lot of people have asked, or just sort of assumed that, like, sort of what we set out to do was just write this happy record or whatever. And again, like I said earlier, these songs are more about the collective experience of a group of people who separated themselves from society, and it's sort of the beginning of the process. My vision was to sort of like have a few albums that sort of spanned this process. And this is the beginning, so this is that period of time, where things are very new and things are optimistic. I don't know if, there's probably been times in your life or anybody's life where you make a big move, you finally do it, whatever it is. And there's this sense of newness, and there's a sense of optimism, and a sense of just sort of anything and everything being possible. And that's the energy I think this record has. But it's also at the same time, it's very inclusive and essentially sort of a celebratory sort of record. There's also a lot of sort of disdain hidden between the lines in it. There's an anger that comes from the separation that these people made, from the rest of the world, and the reasons that led them to do it. And in order to make, a lot of your decisions, a lot of these big decisions that we make in life often come from, total chaos that led to it. Something not working right, something going horribly wrong. And so you find yourself needing to make a drastic change. And so there's a lot of that in this record too. But I think if you listen to the lyrics and stuff, you can definitely hear it. Even songs like No Nostalgia, they're positive, but they also talk about, the idea of not looking back and not holding on to this thing that we're walking away from, and basically not mentioning it anymore because it's irrelevant.
And one music critic said that he mentioned the Up With People when describing you, and I was wondering if you knew that Glenn Close was actually part of Up With People.
I did not know that at all.
I didn't know that either till I was looking it up. I'm like, Up With People. All right. I think they had a song that was a hit like in the early 70s or something. But then...
Wow. Yeah, I mean, wasn't Up With People, I heard something on NPR about that. Like there was like didn't they do like Super Bowl? Yeah, they did Super Bowls.
That's right.
That
They did a lot of Super
sort
Bowls.
of their origin. I knew nothing about them, but it kind of sounds awesome. I mean, like, I actually was kind of liking and going for this kind of churchy vibe with us, and in a secular way. We don't talk about God or anything, but I mean, like I say, and I use the word congregation. I wanted and I like the idea of these songs being approached with a level of almost sort of fanaticism or zealousy, whatever the.
Zealousness.
Great.
Zealotry?
Zealotry. Zealousness. I think it's zealousness. I just Googled it.
So, and that, and you're creating music with this congregation. It's very cool with the Ages and Ages. And
Correct.
Your music now is apparently in a Henry Weinhardt beer commercial as well.
That is correct. Yeah, they wanted one of our songs for this commercial they did about a fountain that shoots beer into the water.
Wow. Did you know I can recite a Henry Weinhardt beer commercial from the 70s that featured... I
did not know that.
That featured...
But let's hear it.
It featured Angelica Houston's father and world-renowned director John Huston, and he says the following line, because they're in a saloon right in the Old West. And the guys are kind of like talking about, wow, they got this newfangled thing called, toaster. I don't know what it was, the newfangled thing. But then John Huston all of a sudden says,
in the future, only little girls will ride ponies. Men will travel to the moon. And Henry Weinhardt's beer will be served in Los Angeles.
And then the screen goes black and the words appear on the screen, now served in Los Angeles. But your music wasn't playing in the background, which was sad.
No.
Dang it. So there.
No.
So for some reason that's stuck in my head, and I'm glad I purged that Tim Perry.
Yeah, no, I think it's good that this came up. And I think really what the underlying message is, unless they're going to go back in a time machine and put our music in that commercial, do not support Henry Weinhardt.
That's right. We have stiff demands.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Seattle, that your family's in Seattle. I think it was our last segment that we spoke. I saw on your Facebook that you opened for Heart. And they're from Seattle. I guess this was last year. How was that experience?
Boy, that was a surreal experience. It was great playing with Heart because they are, I'm a big fan of their music. I grew up with some of it, and a little bit of it was before my time, the stuff I liked the most in the 70s. But
you didn't like the
they're a great band.
You didn't like the 80s power ballads?
I didn't like it the same way. I like it in a completely different way than I like their 70s shredding.
We can't go on just a running away.
Nice. Yeah. That's that's what I remember. Yeah, no, those videos were definitely part of my upbringing. But yeah, no, it was really cool. It was also interesting because, essentially we weren't allowed to be within, like, the same, 100-foot radius of them.
You had a restraining order?
Pretty much. It was interesting. We were definitely shuffled and shooed around so that we weren't able to essentially communicate with them or smile at them or towards them or, breathe the same air that they might be breathing. And I don't think, in all fairness, I don't think it has anything to do with, like, a snobbiness or anything like that on their part. I think it's just, they're, I don't know, they're in their 60s, they're touring. Touring's not easy, and they probably just you know, they want it to be as cozy and comfortable as possible, and they don't, you know, they want to be insular. They want to have